Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. I hope that you will enjoy the content and you will consider subscribing. Today is another episode of the series I'm doing on women in art. तो फिर आज मेरे साथ हैं Mahwish. She is a teacher and an artist. So let's go and talk to her. Assalamu alaikum Mahwish. How are you?
Walaikum Sam, I'm very well. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for being here, Mahwish.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Mahwish, I'm going to start out by asking you to tell us about your work, about your art, and about your work. How, what do you do?
I mostly draw. Like I would say that my go-to medium is mixed media drawings on paper, but then I also do some oils on canvas and acrylics on canvas. So that's like if you're asking me like medium-wise, that's what I do.
Yeah,
so
actually, I meant as a
2D work.
You
it's
teach,
drawings
right?
and painting. Sorry, yeah, and I teach as well. So I've been teaching ever since I graduated, which was a while ago from BNU. I did my bachelor's in fine arts, and since then I've been teaching O and A level art at various schools in Lahore, and I still do that.
Zabardast. Acha ji. So you are a teacher and you are an artist. So you teach art and that's wonderful. आप हमें ये बताएं कि देखें मैं हर किसी से ये कहती हूँ वही किसी पिटी सेंटेंस में कहती हूँ कि अपनी जर्नी के बारे में बताएं बिकॉज द ट्रूथ इज कि हर इंसान की जर्नी होती है ना कि हाउ यू गॉट टू द प्लेस वेयर यू आर राइट नाउ तो आप हमें बताएं कि हाउ यू बिकेम एन आर्टिस्ट वाज इट इजी
Okay, so I think I was always an artist because I've been drawing for as long as I can remember. Like even as a kid, I was always like into creating things. Like I did draw, but then I also created things. Like I would find like all these rough material around the house, and I would put it together. I even worked with like pieces of wood, even if I had to like saw it down and nail things together. Or I would just random scraps. So I've always been into creating things because that was like my go-to activity. So naturally, well, when I was in O levels, I wanted to take up art, but my parents said, "Do not take up art," because I think that happens with a lot of students even now. Because I get to hear that because parents seem to think that sciences give you more career options. So my parents said, take up sciences for now, and let's see where you want to go in the future. So I did take up sciences. But at my school, luckily, whenever we had art classes, I used to have a free lesson. So I would just walk into the art class and I would sit with the other students and I would draw.
Lucky
so by
you.
the time yeah, and I mean that was like my favorite class. I wasn't even a part of that class officially. So when the time came to appear for my Cambridge exams, my teacher said, "You're ready to take the exam. Why not, like sort of register for it?" So I did. I took the exam. I got an A. So which was my, that was the push ke nahi ab aage bhi art hi karna hai. So when I got into A levels, I was very sure. I was like, I want to do art. That's what I want to do. So my parents didn't stop me, although they did have secret hopes, or not so secret actually, that I should become a doctor. Perhaps they wanted one of their children to become a doctor.
Right.
So but I was like, nahi, maine to art hi karna hai. So in A levels, I did art. And that was like my primary subject. The other two subjects were just like filler subjects that I took up. So after that, I went to an art college, did my bachelor's. I went to BNU. And uske baad se, although, I would say, I don't know why, what happened. I think when I went to the art college and I got all this exposure to modern art and, the kind of art, like contemporary art, like I didn't have much exposure prior to that. Although I did do A-level art, but I think I was just so absorbed in my own work that I didn't look at all sorts of art that was out there. So when I was exposed to this kind of art, where I just got the feeling I could have been wrong, like, maybe I misunderstood, but I got the impression that it's very important to make art that is, that's all about the concept, the idea. It's not really about the skill and the meticulousness that one puts in the work. And I got the impression that that's more for like, that's like craft mein aa jata hai, and it's not like visual art, fine art. And it's not, and for me that was very important. I felt like I had that skill, and and I thought that when you sort of like laboriously or meticulously put all that effort into a piece of work, then that's your art.
Right.
But during my art college journey, I just thought that wasn't very important. I felt like, I just felt a little discouraged somehow. So after I graduated, I just started teaching art, and I didn't really properly make a lot of artwork of my own. But then as years passed, I think I gradually started to feel like I was sort of like losing something in me. And I think, that's like when existential crisis hit or something
Mm,
happened after many years. And I realized, like there's something missing. Like I think I need to get back in touch with something about me. And well, the answer I got was that, I've been blessed with this skill. Whether somebody likes it or not, I have to do it for me. I have to put it to use. So that's what I started doing. I just started drawing again. And I think it was great because it became my catharsis. It just gave me that sense of fulfillment. And I realized that, I had to do it. Like, so I think I got in touch with like my inner self, and I
right,
got
right.
the answer that, that this is what I have to do. And so I've been drawing since then and I love it.
So I think कि ये जो आप कह रही हैं कि you got in touch with your inner self. तो
Hmm.
ये as an artist, because you have to
Hmm.
express yourself, through
Yeah.
your painting or your drawing or however you whatever form of art you take up. तो
Hmm.
आपको वो express करना होता है what is in your mind. So
Yeah.
you have to be in touch with your inner self, right?
It's true, but I think it took me these past few years of constant practice is what made me realize what the phrase art is, like a form of self-expression means. Because
Right,
before that, I didn't really understand. I thought I was just looking at things and sort of copying them. That's what I thought I was
right,
doing. I look at a picture, I look at something in my surroundings, and I'm copying it. But no, but when you like really get involved with the practice, the answers start coming to you. And now I can say I understand what art as a means of self expression means. I don't think I understood it like during my younger years. Maybe I'm a late bloomer or whatever, but I now I understand.
हाँ नहीं, but I
So
think कि
yeah,
I completely understand what you're saying because I think हर इंसान को ये realize करने की ज़रूरत है कि आप copy paste करके कुछ नहीं कर सकते if you want to really be
yeah.
successful at something.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think originality, and I think that I also feel that there are ideas that are just like you couldn't even consciously think of them. They just like sort of like flow through you. Like when I'm making artwork, that's where I told like I used to think that you have to have like a brilliant idea before you can create an artwork. And then I just stopped thinking that. I would just sit down with my art material, and even I do that now, and I just start drawing. And I usually start with a woman's portrait, and I think that's because I associate that form to be me. So maybe my works are about me in a way, although it's not always my own face. But then after that, I don't plan the final product. I don't think what I'm going to draw. And I think that once I've started, I feel like the drawing directs itself. The work
Right,
creates itself. I'm just like the medium that's doing it. Like I'm just like the tool being used to create the work. But I think that original ideas, they just flow through you. They're coming from,
हाँ,
wherever they're coming from, but you just have to sort of like let it, be created through you.
right. I was looking at some of your work and it's really
Mhm.
stunning. और मैं ये नोट कर रही थी कि आपके सारी जो आपने मेरे साथ शेयर की है ना पेंटिंग्स
Yeah.
वो
Mhm.
they all have a woman in them and that's very
They do.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I just started drawing it, like I told you, without thinking. But then I realized that yes, I always draw, with a woman's face. I mean, that's because I enjoy drawing organic forms, figurative forms.
Right.
But I think I just end up drawing a woman because I think that that woman is supposed to be me, because I think my works are personal. They're about me. So yeah, I think that's the only reason. Like sometimes, some like men message me and they say, "Could you do a portrait of us?" And like commission works or whatever. And I was like, I don't think I enjoy drawing men. I don't know. Like, I mean, I can maybe draw them, but it just doesn't come naturally to me.
Mm,
So maybe it's just because I'm a woman and I associate that form to be like with myself.
mm.
So that's the only reason,
Well,
I
that's
guess.
okay. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I there are some very interesting pieces that you have shared with me. और एक जो piece है ना उसके अंदर I see that the woman has a crack.
Yeah.
I'm showing that on the screen right now. वो बिल्कुल इस
Okay.
तरह ये cracked है
Hmm.
और ऊपर
And then
butterflies
butterflies?
हैं या moths हैं या
Yeah.
something, right?
Hmm.
I think they're butterflies. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I wanted you to tell us about that a little bit, if you don't mind.
Like I said, like I don't consciously think of the plan, but if you look at like a lot of my works, especially my works, like my earlier works, I think in all of them, the heads are like cut open, and so there's some sort of an opening. So I think, like when I draw, I'm not really thinking an idea. Like I'm looking at, so I draw a face, and then I'm looking at my work, and I feel like यहाँ से ये कर लेते हैं, यहाँ से ये कर लेते हैं, यहाँ से ये निकाल देते हैं, and then I read my works afterwards, and I feel like maybe it's just like this very literal form of sort of trying to get something out of my head, or just like literally sort of like expressing myself. And I sometimes feel like I'm not good with expressing myself in words. And even like if I have to sit down and tell somebody how I'm feeling about certain things, sometimes I feel like I'm feeling an emotion that's like really overwhelming, but I can't put it into words. The moment I try to do that, I feel like it sounds really stupid. What am I saying? That's not how I feel. So I think it's kind of those things and my subconscious thoughts perhaps that's coming out in my words. So the cracks and the openings in the head is like a very literal form of like setting something free, whether it's my thoughts, it's my feelings, and letting something like just out of me. I mean, I am like an introverted person, and I don't think I'm good with talking about how I feel, but I think it comes, that's why the drawings have helped me so much, because I think it just comes out in my
you express yourself through the drawing.
Yeah, and then later on I sit down and I try to read my works, and I learn certain things about my works, and I don't like to like sort of explain them too much to anyone, because I like them to be a little open to interpretation as well. But I would say that the cracks and the heads cut open and all these things are just like very literal, I think, form of suggesting that I'm just trying to set something free from within, putting it out there.
Okay, that's very interesting. And then I'm showing another one right now, which has no features on the face. It's like, koi face hai nahi uska.
So I think these later works of mine are sort of, influenced by, I'm doing like this study of like Sufism and mysticism and spiritualism and all of that. So I think my later works sort of reflect that sort of an influence. So, in this, there are no features, but there's like this thing on her head, which is like the third eye, and it's, I think, 1,000-petal lotus, the symbol that I've tried to draw, but it's a small scale drawing, so I don't think that came out that perfect.
No, actually, so I can see that.
Yeah, so it's so these later works are like, I think, reflecting what I'm studying, sort of like searching enlightenment, or I'm just trying to get to know myself better, trying to get to know the higher intelligence better. So I think it's reflecting in my work, the study that I'm currently doing.
Very nice. So, this is very interesting, and I'm showing your artwork as we're speaking. So, and I'm not going to push you to speak about any particular work other than what we've just discussed, because I know you don't wish to do that. But before we go, I want to ask you कि जो जैसे आपने शुरू में ये mention भी शायद किया है कि आप teach करती हैं, and the students sometimes they're still not allowed, or their parents don't prefer it कि वो art so tell me about that. What do you tell them? What would you tell people जो करना चाहिए?
Because I feel, and I tell them this, I think the most important thing is that whatever it is that you're doing in life, it has to come from your heart. I think, you should do something that you're passionate about. If somebody is really into art and you tell them to become a doctor, they're going to become a doctor like half-heartedly. How does that work? And I think, that desire, that will to do something is the most important thing. And then after that, whatever you do in life, if you're doing it like, if you're giving it your 100%, it'll pay off. And art, like there are like, there's like a lot of fields out there that where art can be used, like, in textile and fashion and graphics. I mean, there's like so many options out there. Or even if it's nothing else, you can just make your own paintings and sell them. People appreciate art, they buy art. So, but I think, I always tell them this, and I personally feel this, that one should always pursue a career that they're really passionate about. Do like follow your heart. And give it you 100%.
And that's what you did. That's what you did.
Yeah. So I think that, like you just have to be honest with what it is that you're doing. And I think you can only be honest if you really want to do it, and don't run away from work. Put in the hard work that's required. But if you enjoy it, then work isn't work anymore. It's, it's just something that you love doing.
Absolutely.
So, effort doesn't feel like effort.
Exactly. Have you ever had to convince anyone's parents that they should let their child do art?
Well, nothing has happened recently, but yeah, maybe, because we have like these open house type thing for where parents come in and they speak to the teachers with they're discussing their subject options. So I always say that I say that if your child is interested in art, then let him or her take up art, because I think doing something that you really enjoy doing is very important in life. And career options nikal aati hain, hey, they're out there. So but just do something you want to do and give it your 100%.
Absolutely.
I do. I mean, I think I have tried to convince them. I mean, I haven't like really tried to push it, but this is what I
Right,
put out
right.
there. Let your child do what the child wants to do.
Right, right. Well, that's great. Well, Mahwish, it was so nice talking to you. And
Yeah, you
thank you
do.
so
Thank
much for
you.
being here.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
You're always welcome.
Allah
Dafis,
Hafiz.
Dafis. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you like this video, make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.